How are you? Good dog? What's going on? Yeah? Going inside? So my last video was a little darker than normal. Certainly a lot longer too, and unfortunately, I had a lot to think about. Self-discovery can be painful, but it's the quickest way to the truth. I've been self-employed for a long time, and I try to make use of my downtime because it's been kind of slow. I've been friends with a bunch of people that have been in the same situation, similar age groups, different professions, and no one's paying what the job should. Our jobs, our skills are being paid half or maybe a little more than that than what we should be getting. I don't know how that's going to change. I'm anticipating change. I would love change. I guess that just means I'm going to have to do better with my own business. I have ideas. And sometimes the challenge is waiting for others to get their things done. Like I've got my printer who needs to give me some print jobs. Well, he needs to quote me on a job for my pamphlets because I want to be doing national support. So I need some mailers. I've decided I'm not going to give away my trade secrets that I've come up with, but I want to be able to help people nationally, because if I don't have a reoccurring revenue stream, my business is just going to be stagnant, and I'm not going to grow. So I had a very fair tongue lashing from a friend. She's telling me I should get some certificates and get into management, which is a good potential opportunity. That certificate would be my best entry into management. And management would actually give me a livable wage, because it's ironic how the technical workers, even the more advanced technical workers, I guess the more advanced technical workers are they're no longer considered advanced. A mid-tier software developer can be replaced by AI. Even though I'm low-level IT, I'm manual labor. You're not going to have a robot with textile arms, legs, and hands with the dexterity necessary to fix your stuff for a long time. That's essentially what I'm up to and why my job is technically safe. But if I want to do what I do in a corporate environment, it's not going to happen. I can't afford to live off of what they're paying. So the only way out is to either change my business model or upgrade, or go back into the workforce, but upgrade my income by going into management, because only management pays a livable wage. It seems like all tech workers of all levels have a depressed income. And there's not a whole lot you can do about it unless you're going to work for yourself. So that's the plan. I'm going to be reaching out to various companies throughout the country and asking about what they think of very affordable remote or phone support. Obviously, it would just be remote or phone support since it's just me and I can't physically go anywhere. I mean, I suppose there might be occasional situations where it might make sense to jump on a plane. Once they get to know me and get comfortable and they have a larger than average job, by my definition, sure, I can do their job in person. Plane rides are cheap enough. A couple $100 gets you to most parts of the country. In my last video, I talked about my nervous system and how I didn't understand how it was working and how it's taken me a life to figure out how to make it work for me instead of against me. I don't want to use these growth opportunities as an excuse, my escape hatch, to not proceed, because my efforts forward will they don't take a lot of capital. I just need some marketing materials, and it's going to be a lot of phone calls, interviewing them and them interviewing me, and we'll find out if I'm a good fit for certain individuals. And my entry, my my entry offering is going to be so affordable, it'll be hard for them to turn down. And since I do have an online presence proving my value as far as quality goes, I should be able to do that with a conversation. So that's the next plan. Pad my resume all I want with certificates, but if it doesn't get me exactly what I want, going back into the workforce would be great if I got a livable wage, but then of course that's 5 days a week, and as management it might be more. It might be beyond the eight hours a day. I know I'd be good at it. The only reason I couldn't get a job like that is because I don't have actual experience leading a team of, say, 10 or more. In fact, the reason I'd be good at it and potentially better at it than average is because I'm technically skilled. A lot of managers in the IT sector don't have actual hands-on tech skills. So it's almost like when Boeing had their issue and they had their snafu of a finance expert at the helm. Their prior expert was an engineer. He was praised for all sorts of top quality. That's the only thing I have to talk about that, but that's my point. If you put a finance expert on an engineering firm and things fall apart, why would you be surprised? If you take a tech worker and make them the management of a team, that should give you the best results. And because I've made so much of my time doing house calls, my social acumen is probably a little bit better than the average IT guy. So that's probably one of the reasons you don't see technical people in management, because their ability to play office politics is a problem. But I think because I've worked professionally, but also at the casual level, meaning I'm showing up in your home, I can actually have a conversation and not intimidate and not use vernacular that's beyond the scope of the conversation just to cover up my insecurities. And I know that happens a lot. Tech people, anyone with a professional acumen who thinks they're hot stuff, shows their insecurities by shoving their cred in your face. No one likes to hear a doctor talk all sorts of technical jargon, knowing it's going over the head of someone who doesn't know the words they just heard. So that's why I'm good at management. I'm smart enough. I enjoy people, which is also unusual in the IT world. I like the outdoors, which is sort of unusual. I don't spend my time in front of a computer playing games. I've only recently got into developing apps, and this business idea is going to start with one of the apps that I've developed. I'm not a software developer, but these days it's so easy to produce something that's functional that I couldn't help myself. I'm not giving so many details because the world doesn't need to know yet. But I have plans. So I tend to study and pad my resume with certificates, but I don't think my dream is working full-time, even if I was to get paid full-time. I'm in such an environment. But I could do it part-time or temporary. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to grow. I've been stagnant for too long. 15 years on my own is great, but the business isn't growing. So the only way I can justify moving forward is to grow. and I think I kind of jumped off into a tangent about working for someone else in management because my friend told me I should. Because it's a path to a better income, so it's a valid argument. But am I going to end up with regret, stuck in an office for 8 hours a day? So I need to make it a point to make measurable success every day, even if I don't spend money. I know on my down days, if I don't make money, I'll actually just clear out the car, just pull all the stuff out, throw out trinkets, and move forward. Throw out the trash, go get it washed. Even if I didn't make money, I cleaned up after myself, literally. Do a load of laundry that same day. It'll feel more accomplished than you realize, because even if you didn't get paid, your next day will be less cluttered. Literally. If you maintain clutter in your surroundings, it's a good sign you get the same sort of clutter in your mind. So I figured I'd actually say something online just because I felt like talking. My last video was very serious, and I was on camera for over an hour, and now I really don't care anymore about prim and proper. I think my phone just overheated. Can you see me? No, the screen went dim. There we are. I think my phone is going to overheat if I stay out there. But that's about it. I'll be back. I'll let you know. I'll let you know how today's day went.